Good morning, and for the first time in a while I'm going to be doing a mechanical video on the Zoomer. I've decided to change the front wheel bearings. Why have I decided to do this? Well, there's not really any particular reason. I don't notice any particular problems with the bearings on at the moment, but the bike is 14 years old now. It's approaching 15,000 miles, and you know, they've probably never been changed. It's a relatively inexpensive little job you can do, and it also teaches me something new. So I thought, well, let's just do it. If you'll remember my videos at the tail end of last year, beginning of this year, I had to change all the rear wheel and gear bearings because they were worn to pass the MOT. So we've done the rear, we might as well do the front. Okay, so I sent off to the ever reliable David Silver Spares, which is where I get all my spare parts and things in the UK, and they sent back 2 new bearings. Official Honda bearings, you can see there, a new dust seal, and this part as well, which I ordered. This I think goes in the middle of the wheel. Now I don't know if I need one of these. The one that's in there might be perfectly alright, but this was only a £5 or so, and I thought, well, for the sake of a £5, I don't want to get the wheel off, take it all apart and find that this bit's knackered and I've got to wait to get a new one. So well, let's just get the whole thing and do it. Total cost for all these parts, £40 delivered to me in Scotland. That's okay. That's a cheap repair, a cheap upgrade, a cheap bit of maintenance, whatever you want to call it. So we're going to get the impact wrench. We're going to go down. We're going to take the front wheel off. I've done that before. I did that when I changed to put the new shocks on, and I did that when I had to replace the hub when I damaged the hub I had on it as well. So hopefully getting the wheel off is nice and easy. Getting the bearings out may not be, it can be a struggle, but the good news is I have the tools I used at the beginning of this year, which is the slide hammer and various bearing pullers and things that I used to sort out the rear. So I reckon if I can get the bearings out and back in again on the rear wheel, I can do it on the front wheel. So that's what we're going to do today. I've not actually seen a video for this on YouTube. I had a hunt around. I don't see anyone in America changing the bearings on the front wheel on the Ruckus, and I don't see anyone in the UK or Europe or Japan doing it on the Zoomers. So I thought it might be interesting to do for anyone who fancies doing it, or needs to do it, of course, if they have a bearing failure. So this is what we're going to do this morning. We're going to go down and we're going to change the front wheel bearings. Right, so we've got the bike propped up on my little homemade support here. And all we're going to do now is hopefully crack off this nut, slide all this through and take the wheel off. Let's see how it goes. Hold the other side. Span that big enough. That's too big. That's too big. Help if you like the specs beforehand, of course. That'll do. Ta-da. And it really is as simple as that. One wheel off. I'm going to give the brake shoes a wee sand before I put it back on again. I think they look alright. There's plenty of grip left on that. And that's it. Okay. Let's go and see if we can get the bearings out. So we're back indoors, and as I always say on my video, there's no fancy garage here with all the latest equipment, you know, or the big workshops you see in a lot of these videos. This is the kitchen table. And this just shows you what you can do if you put your mind to it and you want to just do some work yourself and save some money. So we've got the wheel off. I've got turn around, got my printed manual here. Slide hammer, we may need that, I don't know. So, first thing is we need to, according to the manual, is we need to take off the old dust seal. It doesn't matter if we're too careful with this because there's a new one going on. Just as well, because that's in tight. If the bearings are in tight and as tight as the dust seal, could be a long day ahead. Let's see. There may be pauses in this video while I rake about getting things done. Bear with me. Jeez, that's a bit of it off. That's not been out of there for a long time, I don't think. This is the bit where all the people who know how to do things properly on bikes throw up their heads and hands in horror. Right. This is usually the sort of moment when I start thinking, did I really need to start doing this today? Couldn't I be doing something more fun today? The answer is no. That is in tight. Man. Right, let's try something else. You think that would just pop out, wouldn't you? It doesn't want to. It's well and truly in there. Oh, great fun. That's absolutely welded onto there, frankly. Yeah, something tells me this hasn't been done ever. There goes the slide hammer. Yeah, this is just even chiselled out here. I think it's just a mess. That's alright. See, it's starting to come out now. Right, I think this is just disintegrating, so I'm going to stop this. You can see I'm having to take this out a bit at a time. So we'll come back when I've got all this out. Okay, well, as always, nothing's easy. This attachment on the slide hammer was fractionally large, too big to go into the bearing hole. So we had to just file down the end of the slide hammer. Once I'd done that and it fitted in, tightened it up, the bearing popped out no problem, as you can see, which is quite good. There is the centre thing, which we'll take out. And now we've just got to go down to the other side. So the bearings actually come out easy, but make sure you've got the right attachment for your slide hammer, or you'll have to do a bit of filing. Right, on to the other side. Just to show you what I mean, I had to file down the rim here slightly, just so I could then tap it into the bearing. So that's the old bearing, packed with grease. It's actually okay, I think, but We'll change it anyway. Okay, let's do the other side now. Right, so you just tap the slide hammer. I mean, if it fitted properly, you wouldn't have to tap it. It would push in and then you just tighten it. But anyway, we're tapping it. Then you put this in, which just expands the slide hammer. So it's going to grip that bearing nice and tightly, which is what we want. That'll do it. Attach the slide hammer, which is not the easiest thing to do with one hand. Looks like you turn it the right way, of course. Okay, now live on video, this should pop out, or at least start to come out. Or, well, that's in doubt. Let's try again. You can push this right through actually, so. The other one came out nice and easily, but of course, that doesn't mean anything, does it? If you tighten up. Okay, let's try again. It is lifting up slowly, but I think this is going to take a few attempts. So we'll persevere and we'll come back in a minute. Okay, it suddenly occurred to me I'm actually doing this the wrong way because there's a lip in here and that bearing's not going to come out past the lip. So if I'd actually read the manual, what it tells you to do is just drive the bearing down and out the back. Can. Well, as I say, these things are trial and error. What I thought was a metal lip there. I thought, how does that work? Because the new dust seal can't fit in. It is obviously just part of the dust seal. So so once I take that out, then it should be much easier to get the bearing out, and I don't have to drive it all the way through to the other side of the bike. So that makes sense. So you see, look, that looks like a metal ridge. I thought there was a metal ridge around there, and I'm looking at the schematics for the parts and thinking, there's no metal ridge showing on that. What the hell have I got here? But of course, it's just the remains of the old dust seal. That's the new dust seal, and that will sit nicely in there. Right. Another mystery solved. So we can now proceed to take this out a much shorter route, which hopefully we can do quite quickly. Okay, so to get this out, I'm just going to use my bearing pusher, which I got the last set. This was only a few pound, and I think it's going to come in handy. One bang, and at last, there is bearing number 2 out. So that's it done. Not without issues, but then that's what these videos are all about. I don't know, I've never done this before. This is all new to me. So what we can now look at doing is fit the new bearings, the new collar, in here, which I don't really need, but might as well put it in since we've got a new one, and see how we got on with that. So, time for the new bearings. Okay, so the new bearing, what it says in the manual to do is pack it with grease. That looks like it's got some grease in it, but won't do any harm to put some more in. We don't want to be doing this again anytime soon. So I'll just pack the bearing with just standard motor grease. Okay, right, that goes in there. You can see this okay. and we can just tap that in, he says optimistically. And we need the right size of, that'll do. Okay. Bearing number 1 in. Turn it over. Now, as you'll see, one end of this is slightly longer than the other. So going by the manual, the long end goes towards the hub, the brake hub, I think. Yep. So we want that in there like that. And then we need bearing number 2. Scissors, scissors, scissors. Which again, I'm just gonna back with grease. Once you get the hang of it, if you've got the bits and pieces of this, it's actually quite easy. It's just, at first when I thought that rim of the old seal was actually part of the wheel, I thought, uh-oh, this is going to be a nightmare. But anyway, it's not. So we pop this in, and again you just drive it down till you hit the bottom. Should be that. Looks all right. And then all you're doing is you're going to grease the oil seal. Put it in. I think it says grease, yeah. Apply grease to the new dust seal lips. Install the dust seal in the left wheel hub until it's flush with the wheel hub. Fantastic. Okay. Better get it up the right way, I suppose. Good press. And that looks flush to me. And with a bit of luck, this can go back on the wheel now, and I can forget about this for the next 14 years. This looks like job done. As always, guys, thanks for watching. Hopefully it works. We'll test it when we go for a run on Monday. Like and subscribe if you can. Probably more craziness coming soon. But thanks as always for watching. All the best, guys. Cheers now. So just a wee postscript, guys, which I should have mentioned. Don't forget to tighten the nut up to 44 Newton meters. That's what the manual recommends. And listen to this. Not a sound. I think it likes its new bearings. Okay, once again, guys, thanks for watching. All the best. Cheers now.